A Winston-Salem author now 2 weeks away from her latest release that is titled Boolean Logic and is a collection of 12 personal nonfiction essays.
So here to join us now is Morgan Christie, and we are so excited to have you. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
So what are some of the common themes explored in these essays?
The themes really do range from things along the lines of gender inequality in sports. There's a range of basketball essays. I used to be a basketball player. I used to be, but in some ways still consider myself an athlete. And we talk about different social themes, sort of different ideas of racial equity in different portions of the world. We also range in topics from the US to Canada. So there's quite a range of themes that are associated with, I want to believe, issues that we're really talking about today.
So share with us your writing process for this book compared to previous works of fiction that you've written before.
Yeah, so this collection in particular has sort of spanned over the years, really. Much of these essays were sort of placed in literary journals and in magazines that had existed, kind of engaging with the time. And I find with fiction sometimes there's a little bit more of a concrete form of direction. And these were sort of pieced together a bit like a puzzle. And this idea of Boolean logic, a mathematical principle, tied them together in a way that was unexpected, but worked out really well for the collection.
So what are you hoping that readers take away from your book?
The main takeaway, I want to believe, is based in this idea of reflection and retrospect. When we have this option to take a look at our lives, the things that we've experienced, I think that it can really help us to reflect on what we're going through now in the present and seeing the ways that we can engage with the world that we're experiencing by learning from the things that we continue to experience and go through. I believe that's the takeaway. There's a lot of different ones, but I think this idea of the personal journey and what we can do with that journey is by far one of the biggest, in my opinion anyway.
Sounds beautiful. So we hear you're already working on a few other titles, though. No rest, I guess. Tell us about that.
Definitely not. I actually have a novella coming out next spring, so I'm really excited about that project. So jumping a little bit back to fiction, but I'm also working on my dissertation, which is going to have a creative element. That's a collection of short stories that take place all throughout the world and through different cultures and with different people. So I'm jumping back into fiction, but I do believe that nonfiction remains one of my biggest loves, but constantly working, constantly creating.
Well, talk to us a little bit about your past then with those fiction books. What did you specialize in and what got you into this?
Yeah, I really believe that it was the idea of representation, diversity, multiculturalism. I think coming up, we always strive to see ourselves in the work that we read. And so I have a history in education as well. And so one of my biggest priorities was always to continue to elevate voices and different forms of multiculturalism. And a lot of that is reflective of my own experience, my own culture. And so just making sure that that was represented in a multitude of ways. And I think fiction offered a great platform for it, but nonfiction really does too. And this idea of thinking back to the things we experience and trying to use those things to move forward.
That's amazing. So your answer for this might be different for your fiction or nonfiction, but what are some authors who have maybe inspired you along the way, or kind of, if you like this author, I think you'll like my work kind of recommendations?
Oh, that's great. Ultimately, I have to say my favorite author probably of all time is Toni Morrison. I think that there is just so much enrichment and engagement with the text, with what is happening in regards to this connection to the world around us, this sort of social commentary. And I've always really appreciated that aspect of her writing, all that she has done. And I'm glad that I can say I'm striving towards the same things in both my fiction and nonfiction, actually.
Great, Morgan. Thank you for your time this morning. Congratulations, too, on your continued success. And once again, Boolean Logic officially releases Tuesday, November 14th. You can learn more about that latest book release and Morgan's other books by visiting the website on your screen, morganchristiewrites.com.